Okay guys, for those of you that are wondering where all the latest Datsun videos have been doing, I'll go ahead and show you guys what I have done this whole past week. I haven't had much time to work on the car, but I kind of like it like that. The average amount of time I'm working on it each day during the week is, give or take about an hour or so. Basically, most of the time though, basically since I started figuring out what parts I needed and different things like that, most of the time has been spent waiting on the parts to come in. There are a couple, like this one right here, I ordered through the mail. Turned out to be the wrong one. I'll get to that in a minute. There's a couple videos that I did of me working on the car throughout the week, but I'll probably splice in some of those clips into this video or something. But I managed to get the fuel rail off. That's right here. It took me about 2 to 2.5 hours to remove this thing. It was a huge pain in the ass. I mean, I'm not even kidding. And I was going to do a video of that. This was just to get to the fuel injectors, which they are in there, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute again. But most of this video would have turned out to just be cussing and swearing and calling the car a whole bunch of different bad words and everything. So I didn't figure that would be too entertaining for you guys. But I managed to get it out. I've got all these different parts right here, and I can show you guys this one. Basically, I figured out where the leak was coming from, and it's from the oil pressure sending unit. So I ordered this one from Rock Auto, and it turned out to be the wrong one. You can see it's got a nipple here at the end of it, and there's a diaphragm in here that more or less fills up with oil and allows the gauge in the car to read the proper oil pressure. This one's just for one of the cars that just has a light in it, an oil pressure light. And it's the wrong one. I knew that right off the bat because this one's the right one. I just picked it up today from O'Reilly's, and it has these two prongs on the end of it. So I got in touch with Rock Auto, and I told them what had happened. I actually called them too, and the guy was really apologetic about it, and he refunded me the money. This thing was only like $2.20. It was on closeout, and the listing that they had in their catalog said it was for the one with the gauge, and it even had the picture of the two prongs on the end of it. This is just a different brand. It's a cheaper brand. But yeah, basically that's what I've been dealing with. There's several other parts that I've had to order, namely the injectors and a lot of the different things that went into with the injectors. But this is just some off-brand. Basically, it's some China-made part that they threw in a Beck Arnley box. This one's actually basically a Nissan part. I guess these import direct parts are just, it's the OEM parts except with their name on it. So if you were to go to Nissan, you'd find this same exact one that they would send you, and it would be the same part. Their part number or whatever, whatnot, would be stamped on here. But it's the same damn part as the Nissan one. $35 though. That's why I've been ordering things off Rock Auto, because everything has been cheaper. So I'm not going to end up using this. I'll just leave this here on the ground. The other thing that I waited on, and I know that you can get this online too, but I really don't like bringing the laptop out to the car, mainly because of the sunlight. And I got this service manual for the car. This is an actual factory service manual, and I have been using it. And I was wondering where these bastards went. If I can move all this stuff to give you guys kind of a better view of what I'm doing. I had to order all these new connectors off eBay. I think I showed them off in a prior video. I can't remember, but I'm doing everything all at once. I'm going to be doing this today, basically wiring in the new connectors. And then I also got these injector seal kits. It was really weird because it was like $2.20 for one kit. So I was thinking it's just going to come with the bottom seal and the seal that goes on the actual injector. Both of them go on there, but one's at the bottom and one's at the top to keep the housing on. And it turns out each pack came with like 4 pairs of these things, and I ordered 6 of them. And yeah, I mean, even the guy who sold me these was like, "What the fuck? They shouldn't have sent you that many," but you know, it is what it is. And he was like, "Well, whatever. You can have them if you want them." So I was like, "All right." I went ahead and took them. Probably gonna end up returning them. I took the injectors out yesterday and returned them to O'Reilly's for a core charge. There was 6 of them, so after tax it came out to like $27. That went back onto my my ATM card. What I've got here is an idle air control valve. This one I actually had to special order too. This was an $80 part. Rock Auto wasn't much cheaper. It was like $5 cheaper for the overall price, but you had to pay shipping, and it came out to the same price anyway, so I was like, fuck it, and went to O'Reilly's. But that's one thing that I'm going to have to replace here. Then I've got all sorts of bulk hoses, and I've already started replacing some of these too, mainly the fuel lines. I'll get to the car in a minute and show you, but I've used quite a bit of it so far, and some of them, like this one, I'll show you where I'm going to put this one at. And since I didn't have one of these, I went to Lowe's, and it was like $9 or $10, but man, these things are awesome. If you got to cut rubber tubing like this, and I was using a knife before, this makes it so much easier. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a night and day difference. But in order to get the fuel rail off, I had to take off this mounting deal here that adjusts the, or it sits in front of the power steering pump. I had to take the pulley off too, and the belt's sitting in there as well. Go ahead and show this to you guys. And everything that I've done. I plan on working on it quite a bit more today. And you guys may or may not see a video on it. At the very least, you'll see an afterwards video, if anything. Because, you know, it does take a while to kind of do this. It's tedious work. But here's the new injectors. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You're just removing and replacing injectors and making sure everything goes on right. And I just stuck that in there to kind of plug it up. But these are all 6 new injectors. I've got the hoses down to the proper length. I measured them off the old ones. And yeah, they look a lot better. As you can see, I got all new housings and a new top gasket and everything on these. So far, with all the money I've spent, the injectors were the most expensive. I think they were like $35 a pop or something like that. But after taxes and the core charge, it came out to like a little over $200. Actually, I think it was around $230, $240, somewhere around there. I also unhooked the battery, so I was working a lot in here. The oil pressure sending unit, I think I showed this off in another video. But yeah, it's right in there, right underneath the blower motor here. That guy. New fuel lines I put in, and I went ahead and put the bolts in as well, even though I've deactivated the fuel system for the time being. What else? Had to drain the radiator. Oh yeah, that little hose I was talking about, it's right here underneath the spark plug. It goes from there to here at the bottom. And I don't know exactly what system that runs to, but it's just, you know, it's just antifreeze that goes through it. So I'm gonna fashion up a new hose for that. Put the hose clamps on the new one. But that's basically the gist of what I've done, other than, you know, tightening up the bottom bolts and everything on the oil pan gasket. And it's always smart to do shit like this, but whenever you're messing with connections and terminals, always label everything that you take off and, you know, set aside. I've got all these different ones labeled, and I have it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one here goes right back there. One of them I didn't label, but you know, I think that's injector number 3. But I mean, just to show you guys what I'm working with here, you see how bad these things are. This is why I have to replace them. I mean, I don't really want to do it, but I can, you know, break these with my hands. That's how brittle the plastic is. And I've got another kit coming in, hopefully today or Monday, that will allow me to redo all the connections on this car. So I've got some of you would say, well, I got a lot of work ahead of me, but honestly, it's just tedious. It's not really all that difficult to do this stuff. You know, it just takes a while. But yeah, once I get this thing running good enough to smog, I'm going to do 2 videos, like I was saying, I think in another video. One is going to be the overall cost to get it running good and how I like it. And that's basically going to be, you know, right when I smog it, and I'll include those prices as well. But I do plan on totally restoring this car over time, even down to a paint job, but that'll be one of the last things I do. And I'll give you guys an overall cost for everything. I've been saving all the receipts I've gotten and everything for this car. So I'm going to work on it today. This video will be up before I do any of that other stuff. I've got a couple other errands to run. It's a pretty nice day outside. It's only like 85 degrees probably. It's not even that hot compared to how it's been the past week or two. Really weird fucking weather, that's for sure. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be dealing with, guys, and stay tuned. There's going to be a lot coming.